Okay. So, Jonathan's joining us.
Yeah, there'll be
Jonathan.
people will come on. Stragglers.
All right. We're recording, so let's get started.
Cool.
Andrew
Okay.
from Inndox. Inndox is a cloud-based software, and our head office is in Brisbane. What we do is we help real estate agents, builders, architects, and developers by providing them with a software app that they can give to their clients. And by giving that to the client, it helps very much with your compliance. So obviously agents have some pretty intense obligations around things like seller disclosure. And you've also got a need to retain clients and to make sure you get that resale. So there's a lot of focus on obtaining clients and getting listings. And it's really a bit of a lost art, is how do you keep in touch with the client after the sale is one of the challenges of being an agent, from talking to many agents. And at that horrible feeling when you see a client that you had good rapport and maybe called them once a year or meant to call them once a year, and that person has essentially decided to go with another agent who they've met at an open home instead of relisting with you as the agent. That's quite frustrating. So you need a way to stay in touch, have customers for life, meet your compliance obligations for handovers, and also to have a way of sharing information from the seller through to the owner, so through to a potential buyer, so they can be encouraged to purchase a property. And then at the handover, as we discussed a minute ago, around things like a rural property. So if someone's selling a rural or a property that might have, for example, a swimming pool and a water tank and a hedge that needs trimming, and just think if you're able to share that information about tradespeople, plans, approval certificates, maintenance requirements and things through from one owner to the next. It's a great point of difference for an agent to have that in their toolkit, and to, when they're doing a listing presentation, to sort of really have a point of difference between you and the other people doing a presentation who are going in with very similar kind of value, to say, look, we've actually thought of this part and have a solution for it. So that's really the history of it. Quick background, we've been around 5 years, and we got into this because we also run a business that's a building consultancy in Queensland, and we've performed over 18,000 inspections in that business, is pre-purchase building and pest, which I know aren't always the agent's friend, but increasingly agents are getting pre-sale inspections done. And I'm not here to promote that business. I'm just sharing with you that's been an experience we've had that informs our understanding of property and the challenges around selling properties and issues with properties. So in Queensland in particular, seller disclosure is coming in, and there's still some unknowns that are being sorted out by Antonia and others at REIQ. And in other states of Australia, there are various seller disclosure requirements for agents, and many agents are not aware of how much obligation they have in this area. And so we can help you to understand that and meet that requirement. So I would like to show you the software and to show you how it works and explain a little bit more about how the value works, and then open it up to some questions. So I'm going to share screen. So just give me a moment and I'll pop it open and share screen here. So, right. So what you're looking at is an example of, this is just a mock-up of an account that a real estate office could have. And essentially, there's something I should have mentioned before I launch in and show you the system, and that is that we have a really unique business model, and that is that an agent will arrange various services for a seller. And it might be things like photographs, advertising, floor plans, drone footage, et cetera, stylist, furniture, whatever. So another item that you can have is to provide a property logbook, essentially an Inndox that goes from the seller to the buyer. And now the seller will pay for this. So depending on the property, we recommend around $200, but on some larger properties, like if you've got a big rural property with a lot of issues, it could be even $500, but you charge the client to set this up on their behalf so the information can be neatly transferred to the next owner. Okay. So keep that in mind, because that charging the client a small fee to set this up on their behalf means that it more than covers your cost of using the system, and in fact gives you another revenue stream, which can't hurt, as well as saving you time, let's hope, because we know from talking to many agents that we need to take away work, not add another step in the process. We want to make your life easier, and for a small investment of a few minutes in setting this up, you can keep in touch with that client and get that all-important resale of the property in the future. So if you're thinking long-term about a long-term real estate career, then you need to be focused on getting the resale of every property you sell. So let's jump in. You can see we've got the real estate company name here and just an image. It works as easily as to set up a logbook for a property. So you just come in here and choose, obviously, real estate, and I'll put in a property address. This is, I can do one you call out, but I'll just do, Smith Street, Darwin, for example. And then we're going to just select the property type as house, and we'll select the template as house, and we'll just continue from there. So what the system does is it just generates this. You can then find a nice image of the property and just simply drop it in there, which I'm sure you can understand. Just to add any image, nice, crisp, high-res image that you have is awesome. You'll notice that we have how-to videos in here to help the homeowner. Now, you being agents are probably more clued up about how to look after your home. You know more things, property and real estate. And so things like this are basic to you. But for a lot of owners that could be first home buyers or not so clued up, it's really nice to be able to give them some helpful videos on how they can get orientated with their home. Now, the good part is you can add custom videos. Sorry, mate. Yep. So what you can have is a video from Oxbridge saying, welcome to your new home. We hope you enjoy it, etc. If you would like to refer friends to us or put your house into the rental pool, please do that. So photos of the property, you've obviously taken some photos during the marketing. They can be added here for reference. If you've collected any plans, certificates, approvals, and things and the like, you can always share that and put this here, or the owner can upload their own once they receive this handed over from you. Preparation from natural disasters is a far more critical thing these days. And we're seeing every day that people are being affected by bushfires, not every day, but quite increasingly people are being affected by floods, bushfires and the like. So we're able to put that there. Right, so when it comes time to this, you've just got, sorry, I'm just reading a chat from someone. So we've got preparing for natural disasters. So people can come in here, they can create themselves an emergency plan. Because think about it this way, if you're selling a property to someone and it's in a flood zone, they're going to be naturally concerned about that. And you need to take away some of that fear by giving them some options and more information to allay their concerns. Or it could be in a bushfire zone, and people can find out this information readily online. So putting in information about how they can deal with it, have get-ready plans, and be open and discuss that and disclose it and talk about it and reassure them. This is what professional, ethical, good practice is. That gets the sale and gets the resale. There's a private file section for an owner if they want to put particular information in there that you want to keep private, and that could be their contract. And so when they hand over this logbook to the second owner is not going to get anything that's in private files. So that's important from a security point of view. And by the way, on security, we keep all the information here in Australia at all times. And we also respect privacy and don't share or use any of the information unless express consent is given to do something on behalf of the client. So property management, of course, you might get that property into your rental pool. So why not have a brochure about your property management in here for them? There can be seller disclosure information and any warranties and manuals and things that you might have obtained from the seller. There's a quick video link they can watch to learn how to use the logbook. And here's a list of contacts. Now, these contacts can come from the seller. So you say to the seller, look, have you got a list of a gardener or a pool person, a cleaner, someone that's already servicing you at your property or on your farm, your rural property? Have you got someone that slashes the block or dips the sheep, whatever? Can you share that information for the buyer for their benefit? and they say, sure, here's a list, and you just simply type these in. Once they're in once, they can be in the contacts list, and you can use that for future jobs. So they're just automatically added, as you can see by the template. Now, there's also an option here. You can just simply add in your contacts as a real estate agent. So I'm sure that you as an agent are probably being asked quite often, hey, do you know a handyman who can come and fix that problem? Or do you know a painter who can freshen up coat of paint or maybe do some new floor coverings? So if you've got a list of those contacts in town, why not share them with each buyer? It's a great way for you to, share referrals with your network, and in turn, that network can share referrals with you. And this has been proven to work very, very effectively. So again, think about your business networks and things where people have those breakfasts and catch up and refer people. You can stand up at those and say, hey, fantastic, I've been sharing you with every single buyer that I get. That they're all getting shared your details. And for a client, they just click the name and they can call a builder, an electrician, or whoever you've put there, which is very helpful for someone. Maintenance reminders. We put in a list here. You don't have to think about that. We'll put some seasonal ones in, like cleaning gutters, and obvious things like getting termite inspections and other things. Now, if the client finds these annoying, of course, it's technology. They can just click a button and snooze it, and they can switch it back on if they wish. And for a client, they can actually also add their own. Now, if you're wondering about desktop, mobile phone, of course, these days, everyone's on their phone most of the time. So this works very well on a mobile phone too. So I want to reassure you of that. So now it's set up. You've drag and dropped in a few photos. So you can come in here and upload files and just simply upload them from your desktop and go back. You've added an image in for the property here. You just come and upload an image and you're ready to go. Now you're ready to hand over this information to the new owner. Or in fact, if you like, during the sale of the property, you might have a folder here that's just seller disclosure folder, and you put a bunch of files in here around the property for an owner, for a prospective buyer, and you just share it. So you just come in here and go share it, put their email address in, and then send it to them. Or you can copy a link and paste a link into an ad or a brochure, and anyone who gets that link can come in and see the information about that property if you share the link with them. So you can share a link or share it through here. It's just quite a nice, simple way. Just put it in the advertising. Of course, you don't want to share personal information with everyone. It's just that information that you want to share. So you can have general information, or you can share specific information once you qualified them as being a genuine sort of customer or potential buyer. Now, you've set this up, or you may even have some lucky enough to have an admin assistant who does this for you, and they can set this up on each job as a job comes in, as a new, I say a job, I mean a new listing comes in. If you guys are with a CRM, I'm not sure what CRM you're with. Maybe someone can type in the chat and let me know. But if you're with a CRM, we already have integrations with some CRMs, and that just means that this information that I'm showing you here, much of this can be uploaded for you, so you don't even have to put in a photo or the address or the files. It just automatically preloads for you, and you just do a quick edit, and then you're ready to hand over. So you just hand over the logbook by clicking the button. Oh, unable to do that because you have to subscribe, of course. But it's timely to have a look at this. You have got $199 per month is the cost for using our system. And once again, if you're charging $200, as long as to your client for setup for a smaller property, as long as you're selling at least one small property a month, all your cost of using the system is covered by the client paying for that service for you. So that's really a quick overview. That's not a training, it's just an overview of some of the features and benefits of using the system. So essentially it comes down to seller disclosure by sharing information during the sale, helping your client to move in with giving the trade contacts and other contacts from the seller and documents from the seller and information that you've collected during the process. It could be floor plans, or it could be photographs and things like that that you can pass on to them. Now, your client, once they receive this, they can activate it, and they're going to now receive emails from you that are automated. So it's coming from you with your photograph, little picture of you and your name, or it can be your real estate agency if you want to have an agency and you have multiple agents. And that way you can stay in touch with that client. You're giving them maintenance reminders, which they appreciate, and you can stay in touch with them ongoing. So that way, that's an awesome way to stay in touch with value rather than just saying, hey, happy Christmas or happy Easter, don't eat too much chocolate. You can say, here's a reminder that you should be getting a pest inspection or testing your smoke alarms or doing this or that. And people do appreciate that information about their property, or if they want to alter it, they can snooze it and do specific ones for them. We also, you'll notice there's a chat bot here. So if you or your client ever needs help, they can just come down here. And we're now adding some AI features to this to make it even more powerful and better way to answer questions more quickly. So that's a quick overview of Inndox and some of the benefits. It's a bit of a, normally I'm used to sort of interacting and asking more questions, but it's a bit of a presentation to a group. So thank you for listening to all of that. So I'm going to now stop presenting and open it up and see if there's any questions you have at this point. But I would encourage you, if you do have some interest, you're very open to giving Inndox a trial on a property, we can certainly set that up for you. We'll have a one-on-one to show you some more about it. So I'm going to just stop share for now and go back to this screen. Okay, so is there anyone on the meeting that would like to ask a question? Please ask away. Happy to help. Have you all gone off to make a coffee?
Sorry, I missed the part about the cost. Can you just repeat the cost?
Yes, Jonathan, sure, thanks. The cost for you as the agent is $199 per month plus GST. And the revenue model works that for every property you sell, you add the cost of setting up a logbook for your vendor to pay, and you charge them $200 each. So for example, if you sell one property a week and there's 4 weeks in the month, well, that's $800 you'll be making from Inndox, and you'll be paying us only $200 a month. And if you sell 2 properties a month, you'll be $400 plus GST revenue and $200 cost. So as long as you're selling at least 1 property a month, you'll break even, and more than that, it's a profit center for you. But that's not the main game. It's a benefit. It's a sweetener to be able to make some pocket money from it. It's the main thing is making you compliant with seller disclosure, and also to be able to stay in touch with that client in a meaningful way to get the business from them in the future. So, mate, sorry, long answer, but did that answer your question?
Setup fees?
Sorry.
Yeah.
We do.
Is there any
We usually do have a setup fee because we do some customization for you. So we like to have 2 meetings with you. And over those 2 meetings, we really make sure that you or your team, if you've got some admin team, so it's $330 is the setup fee. Okay. And with that setup fee, that will enable us to customize it for you, put in the customized reminders and contacts, and help all that set up for you. So you can set yourself up for free, but if you prefer not to set yourself up, you can set yourself up for free, no cost, but we would suggest it's a good idea to spend $300 and we can set you up. Okay. Is there any other questions from anyone else at this stage? So,
Andrew, it's Cameron here. I think there's a question in the chat box there. What's the difference to Eagle's CRM system?
Right, good point. Well, there's a few differences. Eagle CRM's no doubt a way that you can set up and have communication ongoing with the client, and that is good. And I would encourage you to use your own CRM. One thing though is you can't really charge your seller to use your own CRM. They won't cop that. Whereas when they see that they can pass on all the information about the property that they are selling to the buyer, then that makes it easier to get more people interested, and they can pass that information on more easily. If you think about it from an owner's perspective, if they for example, if you're selling a rural property like a farm and you have livestock and you have tradespeople and you have a lot of information that you're putting together, that's going to be quite an onerous job to put that together and share all that information with a buyer. Inndox gives you a very easy way to do that. Also, all agents have CRMs, and it's not a point of difference when you're selling. Whereas this, to give a logbook that transfers information from the seller through to the next owner for just a couple of $100, that's a very cheap value proposition for an owner. And your CRM will help you to keep in touch. And I honestly think it's a great idea to use your CRM. But one of the problems you find, though, is a lot of agents we talk to do not use their CRM. That's the reality. They're not using it the way it's designed to be used. Whereas with Inndox, they're incentivized because they're being paid to set it up. And it helps you with seller disclosure, but you're being paid to use it. And then you're giving a buyer a way to manage their property, which the CRM doesn't do. So Inndox is like an app for the owner to manage their property, and that's not something a CRM does. So that's essentially the difference. Okay. Cam, I can't see any more questions. Oh, we got Dennis and Thomas, and Jonathan, any other questions from you at the moment?
Yes,
Guys?
no question at the moment.
Cool. No worries at all. So
how does that affect the disclosure actually? Just like I mentioned, you will actually be is compliance to the so-called disclosure. So how does this software actually enable the compliance disclosure of the disclosure part actually?
Sure. So I'm one of the Inndox founders. The other founder is a property lawyer. And what we've done is we're working quite intensely to make sure we're across the changes in legislation to ensure that the templates that we provide will enable you to collect the information you need from the seller and then to provide that through to the buyer. Because essentially the commission that an agent is paid is to act on behalf of the seller as their agent, as you know, but also to take a big responsibility. Now, if you as the agent do not do that properly, then you're on the hook, you're responsible. So if you don't disclose that, if you don't disclose, for example, one of the questions is, in Queensland, for example, has there been any work on the property in the last 6 years by unlicensed tradespeople? Now, if you don't answer that question and it proves that there is, it's quite possible they'll come back to you as the selling agent, which doesn't seem fair, but that's likely. So it's quite possible. So what you do have to consider is that the REIQ or REI in your state will be supporting you. We're taking the advice from them as to the direction that they want to go and how they need to approach it and applying technology. They'll just give you PDFs and advice, but how do you have a system that actually enables you to use that effectively? And that's what we are doing. So it mitigates your risk to provide the seller disclosure. So you just need to be able to understand that by using Inndox, you share it with the seller and you ask the seller to give you the information to go into the system. So you can give them a login and it's very easy for them to log in and they can upload the information. And you just have a sheet there and say, please provide this information and put it into the system for us. And then you've asked them to do it and it's all recorded and audited. It's auditable that you have asked the seller for that information. Versus if you ask them for it and you've got no record of it and you may have done the right thing, but if you can't prove you've done the right thing in a legal sense, you're still on the hook. So really, it's quite important if you're an agent to make sure you are helping an owner, but you're also not being left with a big liability for these now onerous things. So it's about, as an agent, being smart to understand that essentially you'll be on the hook for seller disclosure if you don't manage it properly. And we think that unfortunately some agents won't manage it carefully. And so that's one part. And the other part is, are you really using your CRM to stay in touch with owners right now? Or what are you doing to stay in touch with owners to make sure you get that resale? most agents say, yeah, we're doing something, we do a bit of this and that, but there's really not much. And so this is a way to make sure you're doing that, and it's automated. So yeah, but thanks for did that answer it? Jonathan?
Good. Yes, all good.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, mate. Okay. So, Dennis, Thomas, you've been a bit quiet. Some input. What are you thinking? Just throw anything at me. Any questions or thoughts at this point? No. Okay. Cool. Well, Cam,
Just how you mentioned about the setup, right? You say that it's possible without you customizing it, right? So that means basically we can do without the setup as well.
oh yeah. We'll give you a template that's good, and we'll set you up with a template. And when you get set up, you'll automatically get templates suitable for real estate. So yes, you can set yourself up and not have to pay the $300 fee.
Okay, all good.
Also, by the way, we haven't discussed yet with Paul, but if the group was to be interested in coming on board, we would offer a discount to the group. Typically, it's 10% for all agents. We get a 10% group as you come on as a group. That's not something that's available to all agents. It would just be to the Oxbridge group, because there's each month. Cam?
No, I'm all good unless anyone's got
Good.
any feedback.
Then
Sorry,
what
I didn't. I was on a phone
No.
call when the meeting started. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Cameron. I'm the sales consultant for Inndox, guys. Just to let you know, I work with Andrew, obviously. I've been dealing with Paul, so no doubt Paul and I will catch up soon when he's available. And I'm sure there'll be some feedback for all of you guys coming from Paul once I've had a talk to him. And we'll take it from there, I guess. Any feedback from any guys?
Yep. Okay. Looks like not right now, Cam. So if you guys,
I missed out the
John?
first part. Well, will there be a recording for this?
yeah, I think so, Cameron. Right? It
Yes,
seems
yes.
it's being recorded. So
Yes, definitely. I'll talk to Paul, and I'm sure he'll send it to you because he's organised the meeting, so it's his recording. So yes, I'll follow up with that, Jonathan.
All good. Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Okay. All right. Take care for everybody. Thank you.
Bye now.
Andrew, bye.